Okay, hi, and welcome back to day two. I am really excited that you're here, that you're listening, because that means that you made it through day one and that hopefully the high fat, high protein breakfast was something that you enjoyed and that you found yourself feeling fuller further into the day than you normally do after breakfast. And you should have noticed a difference in the afternoon as well when it came to carb cravings and your energy levels. If not, don't worry, just keep observing. And today we're going to kick it up a notch anyway. So today, maybe this is a surprise, today is all about grains. We're focusing on cutting grains from your last meal of the day or dinner. And I'm going to go into why we're doing this because this is often a surprise for a lot of people, but it's such an essential step. So let me start by saying that I'm not 100% against grains at all. And I don't think that you can never have grains again in a healthy, well-balanced diet, okay? However, there is a couple of things with grains that make them more of a treat than an everyday staple. And here's why. The first thing with grains is that people tend to create a whole meal around the grain instead of just adding a little bit of grain into the meal. For example, we can see this very clearly when we make pasta. We make a big pot of pasta and we make a small pot of sauce. And to serve it, we grab a big plate of pasta with a little bit of sauce on it. And a lot of times we even add some bread to that already very grain heavy meal, right? So now that meal is predominantly a grain, which I want you to keep in mind for later when I explain why it's not such a great thing. And so that's one example. Another one is when you make a stir fry with a huge serving of rice or noodles and then a little bit of veggies and protein to top it off. Again, you hand out a big plate of rice and then some veggies with meat and a little bit of sauce. So once again, that grain just took over the entire plate. Same goes for pizza, sandwiches, and so on. And these are staples in our everyday lives. Our body doesn't like this for a couple of different reasons. Number one is that grains are actually not very nutrient dense, which means you're not getting much nutrient bang for your buck, so to speak. So grains, they deliver a lot of calories and a lot of starch, but in comparison, very few vitamins and minerals, even though they're deemed a health food, okay? So truthfully though, from a health point of view, they're not all that exciting. So compare that, for example, to a nutrient-dense food like vegetables, which have a ton of vitamins and minerals and other nutrients squeezed in per square inch or per calorie, if you want to use that term. Proteins, again, are very nutrient-dense with lots of fat-soluble vitamins. Quality fats are really nutrient dense as well. For example, we have egg yolks. They are one of the most nutrient dense foods that we know. And when it comes to filling our body with good quality items that help us stabilize our metabolic hormones, grains just aren't very high up there, okay? The reason for that is that grains are mainly made of starch, a carbohydrate which breaks down very quickly into sugar. So I think you can see where I'm going with this, especially if you watch the day one video. So if your dinner is predominantly made up of grains and grains are predominantly breaking down to sugar fairly quickly, then that same energy and cravings roller coaster we talked about at breakfast time is going to happen again at lunch and at dinner time. Okay? So here's the thing. Cut out grains, but make sure you add in more nutrient-dense foods like proteins, fats, and vegetable, because this is a common mistake that people make. They just leave out the bad carbs, right? They leave out the grains, they leave out the bread or the rice, but we forget to make up for those lost calories with other foods that our body requires to function throughout the day, okay? Foods that fuel your body in more ways than just quick energy. They don't result in excess fat stores, and they don't result in the energy and cravings roller coaster later on in the day. So your challenge tonight is to avoid grains completely. And this is when people start to become aware really of how grain reliant we are in our meals. Okay, so for now, keep eating what you usually eat for lunch. Totally fine. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Remember, we're doing this step by step. We're not going to overwhelm ourselves. We've been there before, and overwhelm just leads to inaction. Okay, so I've made dinner really easy for you, as you can just pick one of the dinner recipe options given to you in the manual. You've got 3 dinner options in your manual, so pick one that looks good, and if you need to substitute out a few things, go ahead and do that. Remember, we're looking for proteins, we're looking for healthy fats, and we're looking for vegetables as well. Those are the good carbohydrates. Vegetables are carbohydrates too. So if you want, for the next 3 days, you can eat that same dinner. And I say 3 days because it's like a 5-day course. But you can eat the same dinner as many times as you want, or you can try all the different recipes that I have shared with you, whatever you want, whatever is easiest for you. Okay, there's total flexibility here. And you can also make your own meal, right? If you don't like my recipes, feel free to get creative. Remember, we're just avoiding the grains and adding the protein, the fats, and the vegetables. And I want you to notice, okay, to really notice the difference you feel later on in the evening. Because even though we've just done these 2 small changes, your body is going to start reacting to that, okay? By not having that carbohydrate heavy dinner, your carb cravings later on will be way less intense, especially if you've also switched out your breakfast with one of the recipes that I shared with you yesterday. A lot of people, when they do this, even at this point, even just 2 days in, a lot of people feel like they're going to sleep a lot better and they wake up feeling more rested in the morning. I know that that's the case for me. I used to be, totally grumpy in the morning. I used to sleep in, and ever since I changed my way of eating, I'm one of those really annoying morning people that gets up and is like, yes. So who knows, that might be you. So enjoy your grain-free dinner, and we'll see each other again tomorrow. I'm going to share a tip with you that is going to make your life a whole lot easier.